Baby, it's LASHAI TRIELE back with wig class 115. We will be making a lace closure wig with measurements and guidelines. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on absolutely anything, hunty, okay? So as I said, we're going to be doing this with measurements, hunty, yes, and guidelines. This is highly requested by about 90% of you babes. So yeah, I'm going to cater to you babes and make sure that I help you babes out. So I have my pre-threaded needle on my canvas head. This is the thread that I use. It's really thick sewing thread. Same thread you use for sew-ins. These are my extra long pin needles, and I will be doing this on a mesh dome cap. I have measuring tape and my scissors. So I did write out the charts, and I'm going to be using a number 22 canvas head. My client has an average head size, so I'm going to be measuring front to back, side to side. So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to put this cap onto this canvas head. I'm going to make sure that this cap takes on the correct measurements that I needed to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with measuring front to back. I'm going to make sure that this equals up to a size 14.5 for front to the back. Yes. There we go. And I'm going to go side to side. Side to side, I need 12.5 to 13 inches. I'm going to go 13 inches. So, correct size of the cap would have me to move it down. I'm sorry, to move it up. To make sure that it matches. And I'm measuring where I would have put an elastic band if this was a lace closure. I'm sorry if this was a frontal, but this is a lace closure wig. Now what I do like to do is I put both the sides down 1/2 inch before I pin them down. Specifically because it'll allow the cap to stretch, not a lot, but just a little tiny bit. We only needed to stretch a little tiny bit to make sure that the cap remains somewhat of the same size once I take it off. So this is the hair that my client provided. Is by, I believe the name is Andromeda. It's a 613 lace closure, hunty, with matching bundles. The bundles are right here. I have an 18 inch, a 22 inch, and a 20 inch. So 18, 20, and 22. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and put the bundles back into the bag and put them up for later. It's going to be part of part 2 of this video. This is a 3-part video. So this is my lace closure. I'm going to go ahead and pin that down to the cap. I like to have my lace closures cascade over the cap about 2 centimeters, specifically because you don't really want it adding up with the cap. It'll look a little weird. So you pull it down just a tiny bit. You don't want it over it or by a whole lot. You just want to make sure that you have enough hair on the sides of that closure to cover the sides. I'm pulling the closure all the way back far enough. I'm not stretching it. I'm just pulling it back far enough to where the lace closure will lay flat. And I'm pinning my closure to the canvas head. And as you see, I had a little bit of bumping, a little bit of pockets, air pockets. So I'm going to move the pins around. I'm going to stretch the cap. I'm going to stretch the lace closure just a little tiny bit to make sure that it's flat to this cap. I don't want any space left. So pull it, pin it down. We good, hunty, yes. We're going to go ahead and pin this up so that I can proceed to sewing this frontal down. I'm going to give you babes a little bit of a up close and personal view. Yes, hunty. So I do put the thread in, the needle in, and put it through the thread to make a lock stitch. And I pull it down really, really tight. Pull it down. And I'm able to do this without capturing any of that fabric from the canvas head, because as you can see, when I have the piece of thread, I'll pull it up so that the cap is a little bit up off of the surface of the canvas head. And when I do that, that allows me space to slip through and up under the cap without capturing the canvas head. So I do sew my closures and my frontals in 2 steps. I do this specifically because it allows the tension from the thread to center the closures and the frontals onto the cap. One side is not pulling on the other. So this is how it looks afterwards. And hunty, don't ask me about my black thread. Just to be continued, hunty. Watch the next 2 videos of this saga right here, hunty, and you'll see. All right, yes. So I do sew my closures down on the sewing machine just to make sure that they extra secure. A little foreshadowing right there for you, hunty, because we about to be, yes, we about to put our little ruler onto the canvas head. About to put our measuring tape on the canvas head. Make our own. Yes, hunty. Here we go. So this is masking tape. I got mine from Dollar Tree. You can get yours from Dollar Tree as well. Home Depot, any type of hardware store you like. But yes, honey, we saving coins. Especially when you first start out, honey. You don't want to be spending all your money. Don't spend all your shmoney. Remember my last video, honey. Don't spend all your shmoney. Keep your shmoney in your pockets. So after I was done playing with this silly little masking tape, it was giving me some problems. I'm going to start putting the masking tape, like, let's say right in between a person's eyes. That's why I started putting the masking tape on the canvas head. So down past where their forehead will be. That's why I started putting the tape down at. And I'm going to put this tape almost all the way down to the bottom of this canvas head. That's because we need a lot more space to measure it from front to the back. So I'm going to cut off another small piece and add that to this one. And I'm going to press the tape down into the mannequin head and make sure everything is nice and flat. My next step, I'm going to put the tape side to side, hunty, side to side, yes. So we're not pulling that all the way down, pulling that down to about where the ears will be. You have to imagine that this is a person's head without it being a person's head, you know what I'm saying? Visualize, hunty, visualize. So sorry about the little jumping of the video. This wasn't very, very fast motion. I did slow it down. So what I'm doing is I'm laying my measuring tape on here, and at every inch I'm writing a dash, writing a mark that measures for every inch on both tapes. From the front, I'm going to write 0 to 15. I'm going to start writing my 0 in the front and finish my numbers down the back. On the side, I'm going to go 0 to 14. I'm going to wrap up my mannequin head, my canvas head. This protects the canvas head from getting dirty. It protects the little ruler that we just made. It keeps water out, everything. And when you're doing this, if you decide to saran wrap them, make sure that you put heat on them, because it'll allow the saran wrap to pretty much be seamless on top of that cap. It'll allow it to be as flat as possible. It shrinks it to the cap. So don't really worry about the little bunch and everything. Like I have a little bit of bunch in the saran wrap. It's fine. It's okay as long as it's flat. It won't disrupt the size of the head or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my chart again. Like I said, you can get this chart from anywhere online. I decided to write mine out because it gives me a better mental note. If I write things down, I'm able to visually see it without going back to the chart every time. So I'm going to pull this front down to the 0 where the cap is, the front of the cap. And I'm going to pull the bottom of the cap down to a 14. Now with this saran wrap being a little bit slippery like it is, I'm going to actually pull the front down to about a -0. So I pulled it down to about an inch. Not about an inch. I put it down an inch and I put it on a 13. That's going to suffice for the 0.14. It's still 0.14. You just pulled it down an inch. And you fixed it to this slippery little mannequin head. Because as we all know, these dome caps are very, very slippery. So you want to make sure that everything from front to back matches up. This is how you are making sure that this head size is correct. I'm going to go ahead and pin the pins down. I'm sorry, pin the cap down. I'm going to pin the cap down, hunty. Pin the cap down, yes. Making sure that this cap stays in place. Because like I said, this girl, these mesh caps be trying to do their own little thing. I don't know what's wrong. They got a mind of their own. On top of this little slippery little saran wrap, girl. They crazy. So you want to pin it to the size that it's supposed to be, the size that goes through the 13. So 0 to 13 over the top, side to side, and you have 0 to 14 through the back, or -1 to 13 like how I have. I'm going to proceed with writing my guidelines. I have 3 bundles. So with 3 bundles, you want to go every inch. So I started on the 11. I did an upside down C. My bottom track is going to go on at number 12. Now, if you had 4 bundles you were trying to squeeze into this lace closure, you will go every 1/2 inch. So if you wanted to write extra for every 1/2 inch, you could do that as well. But I'm going every inch. Now at the bottom here, I was writing these from side to side. And as you can see, that wasn't really working out, because I need them to be at every inch mark at the bottom here. See that? See, I need it an inch apart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to correct this mark to an inch and have it match up to the other end. Now, if it makes it a lot easier, because it is a lot easier if you want to start from the middle and work your way to the ends, that is perfectly fine, hunty. You're making sure that those lines are evenly spaced. So the bottom ones are an inch apart. Yes, honey. So these guidelines are coming along very, very well. Now, when you get up here to the top, you want your guidelines to be a lot more closer together. This is the last one I'm going to do that's going to be an inch apart. You want to also make sure that when you get to the top, that these ends are slanted upward. You want to make sure the ends are slanted upward, going toward the lace closure. And I'll show you that right now, because I'm going to correct them to go up. The tracks lay a lot differently. They allow the tracks to lay into the front of the face as your regular hair would fall down. Your normal hair will fall down with your edges and everything. So if you were to do them straight, they would lay a lot differently. We don't want them to lay straight down. We want them to lay upward in a diagonal formation, that all the hair flows down up under this lace closure. And so I'm getting down to the last few, finishing out these guidelines, hunty. I'm putting one more line across the back part of here, because like I said, you want these lines to be a lot close to the top. And my last track is going to go along this line right here of the front, of the closure. I want to keep saying frontal. It's not a frontal, hunty. Get it right. It's a closure. So I did go through to make sure that my guidelines were a lot more clear to see. And although I am using a little bit more marker on here, I do have to wash this cap later on. You guys will see that in one of the next videos of why I will have to wash it and everything. So yeah, hunty, stay tuned. But I am making my guidelines a lot more visible. Like I said, when you get up to the top, you want to make sure that these are slanted. That way they lay down in a diagonal formation. You want them to be able to come up and then down. And I did double my tracks, hunty, for the next video. So proceed to the next video. Thank you, babes. I love you so much for supporting me and watching me. I hope you got a lot of knowledge that you can apply to your wig making skills, honey. Anything that you want to know, message me. We can get it popping. Put it down in the bottom and I'll make a video of it. Anything you need help with, honey, yes, I'm here for you. Make sure that you like, subscribe, turn on the notification. I do have new videos every week. Like I said, follow me on social media that we can chat it up, baby. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.